So as Benvolio enters, Gregory and Samson are still trying to get Abram to kind of throw the first punch, so they're not at fault for this fight. Gregory says to Samson, say better. So basically, tell Abram that our master is way better, and then get him to fight us. Also, you will see aside a lot. That word aside, basically that means either a character or multiple characters talking where no one else can hear them. So that's kind of the part of the theater where you have to use your imagination that they're having a private conversation, though the other characters on stage could probably hear them. So Samson, he says, oh yeah, my master's better. And then Abram says, you lie. And so Samson, again, still trying to fight. I hope that you know how to fight. And then guess what? They start to fight. Benvolio comes in, he draws his sword, and then says, part fools. He's trying to break up the fight. He's a good guy, he's a sensible guy. However, Tybalt, who is a Capulet, Juliet's cousin, is not a sensible guy. He loves fighting. He's violent, he's angry, he's quick to trigger. And then he says, look upon thy death, Benvolio. So he's saying, hey, guess what? I'm going to kill you. Benvolio says, hey, you know what? I do but keep the peace. Put up thy sword. I don't want to fight with you. I'm just trying to break this fight up. I don't want to cause any more trouble. And then Tybalt, in his typical angry fashion, says, what, drawn, and talk of peace? So basically he's saying, how can you talk of peace? How can you talk about breaking up this fight when your sword is drawn? I hate the word, as I hate hell, all Montagues, and thee. So I hate the word peace. I hate hell. I hate Montagues. And I hate you. Let's fight, coward. So Benvolio has no choice but to fight. Tybalt comes out at him. They start fighting. The citizens come. A crowd is gathered. They come out with clubs and other weapons because they are sick and tired of their crap. The citizens want the Capulets and Montagues to be locked up. They are tired of them being in control, having so much power, and being basically able to do whatever they like. So now here comes Old Capulet and Lady Capulet. That is Juliet's parents. Old Capulet is obviously the head of the Capulet family, with Lady Capulet being his wife. Capulet here says, what noise is this? Give me my Lonsard, ho. And then Lady Capulet, in a funny way, says, a crutch, why call you for a sword? So Capulet, he's getting up there in age. He wants his sword. He wants to fight. And Lady Capulet basically says, what do you need a sword for? You need a crutch, old man. Chill out. So here comes old Montague and his wife, Lady Montague, Romeo's parents, the head of the Montague clan. And Capulet spots him and instantly wants to fight him as well. Montague calls him a villain, says, do not hold me back, let me go. So now these two old men are going to get fighting. Lady Montague says, you really shouldn't be fighting. You should be taking a step back. You do not need to get involved in this. And now here comes the Prince of Verona, ready to put his foot down and ready to tell these people what are up. He gives quite the speech here. He starts off by saying, rebellious subjects, enemies to peace. So you rebels, you traitors of Verona, what are you doing? Stop trying to kill each other. Stop trying to stick your sword in your neighbors. We need peace. They don't listen. They keep fighting, they keep screaming, there's a violent scene unfolding, and basically the prince has had enough. He calls them beasts, he calls them animals. He says, what is going to quench your rage? By killing more people? By having your enemy bleed out, right? Purple fountains issuing from your veins, that's blood, right? Get your hands bloody, and then basically he says, throw your weapons to the ground now. He's angry, right? He's tired of this. And like the prologue says, this has been a feud that has been going on for a very long time. Probably past old Montague and old Capulet's time as well. It's probably to their father's time and their father's time, right? We're never given a specific time frame of when or how long this has been going on, but it's been going on for a long time. So basically here, he says 3 times that you have had a riot break out recently, okay? I am tired of it. You have disturbed the citizens of Verona. They are tired of your crap as well. You need to figure this out, because if you do this again, if you ever disturb our streets again, your lives shall pay the forfeit of peace. AKA, you're going to die if you do this again. So he says, Capulet, you're going to come with me. I'm going to have a talking with you. You're going to the principal's office. Montague, you are coming later this afternoon to the principal's office. And you guys are in a lot of trouble, okay? So he says, put your swords away. One more, on pain of death, all men depart. So he says, once more, he says, if you do not put your swords away, I will kill you right here at this spot. And that means that Montague, Lady Montague, Benvolio, they have no choice but to exit. Montague, he says, hey, nephew, who started this fight? What were you doing? Benvolio says, you know what? I didn't start this fight. They were already fighting when I got here. It was your servants that started the fight. I came to break it up. I came to have peace. But the fiery Tybalt, with his sword prepared, which, as he breathed defiance to my ears, he swung about his head and cut the winds. So Tybalt would not have it. As they were trading blows, as they were fighting, the prince came, and that's kind of when it broke up. So Benvolio is just relaying to Montague what happened. So Lady Montague here, she tries to ask about her son Romeo. She says, have you seen him today? I'm glad he wasn't here for this fight. Romeo, not much of a fighter at this point. We're going to see that he's a little bit mopey right now. He's a little bit heartbroken. So he wasn't prepared to fight or in the right mental state to fight at the moment. Benvolio then goes into a little bit of a speech. An hour before the warship sun, so he's saying, you know what, I went for a walk this morning. I went to the trees, the sycamore trees at the west side of the city, and I saw him. I tried to give him company, but he wanted to be alone. So you know what, I ignored him. I let him be alone, and that was the last that I saw him. So Montague here, he says, you know what, many a morning hath he there been seen. So Romeo's been kind of pouty. He's been up early in the morning. He's been kind of moping around. He's been sad. He's been depressed. And the sun hasn't really been shining on him. So Montague continues, and private in his chamber pens himself. So Romeo has also been locking himself in the room. He really wants to be alone. He makes himself an artificial night. So he's been drawing the curtains. It's like if some of you maybe hide out in your parents' basement. Romeo is a little bit depressed. Benvolio says, hey, uncle, do you know the cause? Why is Romeo so sad? Montague, he doesn't know. He hasn't been told. And then Benvolio says, have you tried everything to get him to tell you why? And Montague says, you know what? I've tried, my friends have tried, but no one can get him to talk. But to himself so secret and close, Romeo doesn't want to share. It doesn't even look like he's close to sharing. But Montague asks Benvolio to kind of help him out. He wants Benvolio to go ask Romeo. They're close. And here Romeo enters, and Benvolio says, see where he comes, so please you step aside. Let me handle this. Let me talk to Romeo. And Montague says, I would be happy for you to try to get Romeo to open up, because I haven't had any success.